All right, let's head straight to the economy now, the global economy at this point. We have Ini John McQuarrie with the details, and with the way Ini is looking right now, she almost seems like a fellow Falcon.
But if you, if you won't celebrate us, we will celebrate ourselves. Right. The men have not been able to do it. Whoa. The women have done it for 10 years. Whoa. And now some people are not happy that they've gotten some gifts. Okay. I mean, for 10 times, not 10 years. Okay, so what are you saying about the men at this point? I don't know. I know about the women. I don't know about the men. Right. But I know that anyway, we've empowered the women to do this. And you lost the power, yeah? No, we didn't lose it. We're just empowering you. You empowered the women without the power now. All right. I think that's a topic for another day. Another day. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Global News segment of Business Morning. And we start with, of course, President Trump, United States President. He set a new deadline of 10 or 12 days for Russia to reach a peace deal in its war on Ukraine or face tough new sanctions, underscoring his frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin for prolonging the conflict. He was speaking in Scotland, where he's holding meetings with European leaders and playing golf. Trump on Monday said he was disappointed in Putin and shortened a 50-day, what was the initial deadline, to 10 to 12. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has hailed President Trump's clear stance and expressed determination over his remarks targeting Russia to end the war in Ukraine. There was no immediate comment from the Kremlin, as usual. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, a close ally of Putin, said in a post on X that Trump was playing the ultimatum game with Russia and that such an approach could lead to a war involving the U.S. So we hope it doesn't get to that, but at least we see President Trump trying to intervene, to bring peace in the world. And talking about President Trump and his meeting there in Scotland, he met with Sir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and he was talking to him, well, pleasant chats. We know that the UK has gotten a slash on their tariffs. I think the best so far, 10%. So he was telling Keir Starmer how he should slash taxes, stamp out illegal immigration if he's set to beat Nigel Farage during an extraordinary hour-long press conference. The two leaders held talks at the US President's Humbury golf course on the Scottish coast before flying together to Aberdeen. And I learned that President Trump did take Keir Starmer, Prime Minister, around the Air Force One. I guess is a privilege. But, I mean, of course, they did talk about their relationship, the relationship between the two countries.
The relationship between the countries. And Keir's a friend of mine.
Would you recall Parliament so that the President can talk to MPs?
Well, Parliament's in recess at the time, but look, I do want to be clear. This is an unprecedented and very special state visit. This has never been done before. There'll be many elements of it that have never been seen before. So this is going to be a historic occasion, and we're all very much looking forward to it. And I was very, very pleased to be able to put forward the invitation when we were at the White House earlier this year. So this is not just a state visit. They're always incredible occasions, and this is an unprecedented second state visit. So you can imagine just how special that's going to be.
The fact that it's never been done before, and that's because it's non-consecutive, and it's the only reason it could be, made it even more interesting, frankly. So it's going to be great. And being with Charles and Camilla and everybody, I've gotten to know because of 4 years and now 6 months. Gotten to know a lot of the family members. They're great people. They're really great people. And in that sense, I think that the UK is very lucky.
Well, I guess UK is lucky because they have a good relationship with the world's biggest economy, yeah? Okay, so moving on now, China's trade had its worst week in almost 3 months, and it's a sign that this year's record-breaking volumes may be starting to slow. Cargo throughput at the nation's ports was 6.2 million containers last week, according to data released by the Ministry of Transport. That was the lowest since the second week in May, and a drop of almost 7% from the previous week. Meanwhile, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and China's Vice Premier are holding a talk. They held a talk on Monday at the Swedish Prime Minister's office, and reports say that the talk will continue today, Tuesday. That's the U.S. and China talks. They've been concluded for day one, and both are working to resolve key trade and technology disputes, with China seeking relief from the U.S. tariffs and curbs on tech exports. And well, one of the consequences of all of this is that India has overtaken China to become the top exporter of smartphones to the U.S., according to research firm Canalys, reflecting the shift in manufacturing supply chain away from Beijing amid a tariff-filled uncertainty. Smartphones assembled in India accounted for 44% of U.S. imports of those devices in the second quarter, and that's a significant increase from just 13% in the same period last year. Total volume of smartphones made in India soared 240% from a year earlier. In contrast, the share of Chinese smartphone export to the U.S. shrank to 25% in the quarter ended June from 61% a year earlier. Canalys data released shows that Vietnam's share of smartphones export to the U.S. was also higher than that of China. All right, so we've seen agreement between U.S. and China, the road to agreements between U.S. and China. We've seen agreement between U.S. and Japan. We've seen agreement between U.S. and EU. And you would wonder what's happening to Canada. Is the fight still on? Is it still hot from there? Well, let's speak to Professor Olabisi Akikugbe. He's Purdy Crawford Chair in Business Law and Associate Professor at the Zurich School of Law in Dalhousie University in Canada. But I think he's now in Accra for this period. Prof, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Amy. Good morning. Good to join you.
Good to have you. At least you have a better timing now since you're not in Canada at this time. So we're not disturbing your sleep too much.
That's true. Thank you.
All right. So we've seen some agreements reached. We're counting down to Friday, August the 1st, where the reciprocal tariff is supposed to kick in. But we still seem to hear a lot about Canada. What's going on?
Well, everyone is asking that question. What we've gathered from what the Prime Minister of Canada and those who are negotiating with the U.S. Team have said is that, number one, they hope that they can get to an agreement before August 1st, or at least by August 1st. But the agreement negotiations with the U.S., between the U.S. and Canada, is significantly complicated. The two economies, as we know, are very close. The U.S. does a lot of trading with Canada, quite significantly, particularly relative to the energy sector. There are other sectors, but most importantly, what we gathered is that the negotiations have been far from transparent, they have been far from consistent, and there is a lack of uncertainty on the issues that the US side, at least, would want to talk about. That looks like the most important reasons why there has been delays, because the Canadian representatives have been vocal in the press in the past couple of days that approaching those meetings have really proved very difficult, primarily because you don't know which issues you will be negotiating on.
So if there are no deals before Friday, is just a couple of days away, before Friday, what kind of relationship can we expect? What are some of the impacts of the tariff that could be expected between these two friendly nations?
Well, number one is to say that there will be tariffs that will be higher than what is going on now. It will be in the range of about 35% on goods coming from Canada into the US. Now, the goods that that particular tariff will be levied on will be those that are deemed non-compliant with the United States, Mexico, Canada agreements, that's the USMCA. And so that would mean that, items that are imported into the US from Canada relating to things from dairy products to energy, to steel and aluminium will be very, very expensive. Now that will mean potential loss of jobs in some areas because the markets will become very volatile and unpredictable. And smaller businesses may have to look for other options where they cannot survive in there. So job losses is number one. And overall impact on the economy, it's also very likely. It's already playing out, but it could be worse if that becomes the reality. Number three is also just that, it means that we are back in this era where both states, despite the proximity that they exercise to each other geographically, will be in a tough situation with respect to basic relations in relation to immigration issues. Because one of the things that remains on the table, which again, from what is reported, has been said, relates to the free movement of fentanyl through borders. And so border relations would also become very, very difficult, amongst other things. Yes. But the economy tops it up. It will be tough for the economy.
Yes, it doesn't sound good at all. So we do hope to hear talks. Today is Tuesday. Perhaps maybe a resumption of talks would really help all of the sentiment. But thank you so much, Professor Olabisi Akingbe, for your time and views on the program.
Thank you very much, Ini. Always good to join you.
All right, Ladi. So, yeah. Canada seems to have been quiet. We know President Trump kind of thinks some part of Canada is an extension of the United States. So I don't know, maybe that's the sentiment. Right. But it will really affect a lot of the residents. And as Prof has said, the economy will also feel
and we're seeing all the action play out in the currency market now with the euro dropping against the USD. And I'm sure the traders are having fun, at this point it was playing out. But thank you so much, Ini, for those details there. And the markets here are open right now. We're seeing trades already happening. Thank you for watching the show today. I'm Ladi Williams from the team right here at Channels HQ. Bye for now.